Hello and welcome back to Strongwoman High's Life is a Mishmash. Today we have part two of the dynamic duo. We have Sue Taylor Franklin joining us all the way from Wales. She is a double Guinness World Record holder and also held the 300 kilo 18-inch world record deadlift for a while. Welcome to the show, Sue.
I think I've still got that one, to be honest, the 18-inch one.
Hell yeah, still current record then. Nice,
Yeah.
very
I
nice.
think it's hanging on by his teeth, like Claire Miner's biting at my heels all the time, isn't she? But
Always. Oh,
yeah.
there's always someone in there.
Always. Yeah. Thank you for having me today.
No problem. No, thanks for being on. So, yeah, we had Sam on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and then now we've got you. So, obviously, a very little bit of a different insight, but a similar sort of journey. So, do you want to just give us a quick rundown of how you got into Strongwoman and how you started before we get into the actual podcast?
Yeah, okay. So when I hit my 50th birthday, I decided to have a little go at powerlifting because Sam was doing it. Within 6 weeks, realized I was really strong and won 9 Welsh records within 6 weeks of starting. So
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
I'd have a bit of a little dabble then. I think the natural progression from powerlifting is to go and do a bit of strong woman. So I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. Biggest regret of my life, but.
Don't
But yeah,
say that.
I've never done any exercise or anything. I've never been fit. I've never played sports or anything. So it was really new to me to do this. I was more
Yeah,
of a biker, take drugs and get drunk girl before I had Ollie at least, in 2010, I was a wild child. So this was all
nice.
new to me, being really structured and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So, how long did you do powerlifting before you did your progression into strongman?
Probably about 5 or 6 months, I think it was. But
Wow.
I think for me, the natural progression was only to prove to myself that yeah, I'm only going to do one. So I entered Caerphilly's Strongest Woman. The day before, we were flying out to Daytona Beach, and I jammed my thumb under an atlas stone, and it squashed like a bug, sort of thing. But
Oh no.
yeah, I think that was a natural progression just because Sam was doing it. And I thought, you know what, she can do it. I can do it. Although there's a 10-year difference between me and Sam. I just thought, oh, she can do it. I can have a go as well. But I actually came third out of 14. Really shocked myself, I've got to say. Didn't
Class.
realize I
That's
was that competitive. But
And I love how both you and Sam both had like an instant progression into Strongwoman as well. It wasn't like little like novice comps or anything. It was just like, yeah, I've done this now and I'm going to go straight to the top.
oh, do you know what? It really was. And, I think my third ever strong woman comp was World's Strongest Woman. And I
That's
went in
pretty
there
much the
with
same for
one
Sam.
leg. Yeah, well, she went to Dubai, didn't she, on the second one? But
Yeah.
but because we've done this together, I think it's made it even more special.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's made it for the pair of us and cemented us really as the power couple or whatever we've been called and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, to go into Worlds on my third one with one leg, because obviously I was waiting for a knee replacement even then.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Crazy. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point as well. But
yeah,
we'll start with the proper bit of the podcast though. So, what has
okay.
been your strong woman high? So,
I think I've got a couple.
yeah,
My first one was first woman over 50 in the UK to lift over 200 kilos.
amazing.
And I was judged by the one and only Andrea Thompson. And of course, that was the most nerve wracking thing because I've watched her and adored her and, that sort of thing. But yeah, to do that in the Superhuman Games in Bristol, and she was reffing, and I locked it out, and it was like, did I do it? Did I do it? Did I do it? And she's there putting her hand up. Yeah, you did it. You did it. So I think that was probably the first one. That was my biggest, I think, at the time, to be the first one over 50 to do that.
Amazing.
And I'd only been lifting probably about 18 months by then, so it wasn't. It's quite a fast progression for me. I think then the Britons 1 and 2, which I actually only entered at the last minute because they told me I couldn't go because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I entered to go and support Sam, thinking, oh, I'll just go and I'll just lift and say I've hurt my ankle or something and not do the rest, and end up doing the comp and come in 1 point behind Sam in second place. So that was huge as well, and a bit unexpected for everyone because I hadn't trained for about 6 months before that.
Amazing.
The other one then was taking the British record. I thought it was just the Welsh record. It was actually the British record Masters with Aunt Brown in the log and deadlift, and I had been really ill. And five weeks before, I'd almost died. I'd had a massive operation, a massive bleed,
Oh
and
God.
I thought, oh, shit or bust. Let's give it a go. So I took my belts, thinking, oh, we'll have a go. And the 225 flew, and then the 235, and he said, right, you got to go for 242 as the record. I went, oh yeah, go on, and it just flew up. It was just like, but I think that enforced rest had helped my body just to go, yeah, let's do this, let's do this. So yeah, that was another big one, and obviously the plane pull to do that with your wife is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
mm,
absolutely. That's absolutely insane. It feels like every single like record or like big comp your highlights has all been after something like quite horrific has happened as well.
absolutely, yeah, it's just nuts. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost like the phoenix rising from the ashes, but at the time I was getting like the fatter phoenix, fatter and fatter, getting lifting heavier and heavier, and thinking, oh yeah, I can eat because I can do this because I can lift,
Yeah,
lift heavy, that sort of thing, So
yeah. It's
was
a
it
really
weight moves
interesting
weight in it?
Yeah,
Mm,
it's a really interesting point that actually, and we'll go into that a little bit because it's a big thing in strongman and strong woman. I think it's less in strong woman, but it's still there that
yeah,
like you start and that mass moves mass, and it sort of promotes you gaining a bit of weight, which I think is beneficial for a lot of people, but you can take it too far, can't you?
I did take it too far. I got up to, what was it? My heaviest, probably about 116 kilos.
Well, yeah,
And of course, it was pretty shitty on my knee as well, because obviously all this time I was waiting for this knee replacement that wasn't going to happen until I was 60. And
yeah,
this was a motorbike accident when I was 17, so it wasn't even done within the sport. Everyone's like, "Oh, I told you if you lift heavy." It wasn't that. In
yeah,
fact, if anything, that probably kept me more active and more mobile.
absolutely,
But
yeah,
obviously, the bigger I got, the more strain on the knee, and then the more painkillers they put me on because I was on such a mad concoction. I was just, I was zonged. You know what I mean? So it was, yeah. So that was the weight, and then I was still lifting heavy, but it was doing me no good
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, I think you get to a point, don't you, where like the mass actually isn't that beneficial anymore, and when you
Yeah,
struggle, like especially with strongman, because it is such a like unique sport where there is a cardio element in it, there is a
yeah,
moving event element in it, and that mass just doesn't carry over to a lot of moving stuff at all. And I think people lose out on points there just because they've got too big, thinking that that'll
yeah.
increase the static strength, which yeah, it does, but then it's not going to help any of your actual moving events. And
No.
that's like usually 3 out of 5 events in a comp, most of
Oh
them.
God, yeah. And it was funny because I've always been very good at the grip events, so it was farmers and deadlift for me. I didn't want to do anything else. It was just farmers and deadlift, and I was really good at the both of them. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think in one of the Wales Strongest Woman, I went into an opens comp because there wasn't a masters in it, and Rebecca Roberts beat me by like point 0.2 of a second on the farmers run, and it was a heavy run. It was a really heavy run. So to get that close to Becca at that time, I mean, Jesus Christ, I'd still be running now if I did it now, but at that point in quite early on. But after that, then it was when I started piling on the weight, and it went from 90 kilos, and then I was like, oh yeah, but I've broken that record in powerlifting. So I had the 80 and the under 82s, I had the 82s, I had the over 90s, and then I was like, right, okay, so I was 100 kilos then when I did the 300 kilos. So
yeah,
but I felt unfit, I felt wrecked.
yeah. That's the thing. It just catches up with you after a while,
Oh
doesn't it? And
yeah,
like you said, like it will have been putting way more pressure on your knee as well, which is not
absolutely.
worth it for you, really, is it? Then,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah, I felt I was very immobile then. It was hard to get off the sofa half the time, because putting all the weight on the one leg, and so that hip was hurting, and yeah, so
yeah,
yeah,
a lot of
drastic measures,
compensatory
yeah,
stuff.
definitely,
Absolutely. Now they're great strongwoman highs. Obviously, we spoke to Sam quite a lot about the plane pull as well, so we won't go too much into that because we want to
yeah.
keep it a bit fresh, keep it a bit different. But your record deadlift that you did with Ant Brown as well, I just want to talk about that because obviously, like, if you've come into strongwoman, when did you start strongwoman? When you were already 50?
Yes, I didn't start training powerlifting until I was 50 in 1 month, so it was the April of 2018. That's when I started.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
just after my 50th birthday.
absolutely wild, but I love that because like what an inspiration to other women who are in the 50s and think I can't do that now. Like I've missed the point where I would be able to do that, and you're here like, nah, mate, do it.
Yeah, come on, let's have a go. Let's have a go. And I've always been like, let's have a go. I've never been really what I would call competitive, whereas
Yeah.
Sam is ultra competitive. I'm like, ah, oh, okay, let's give it a go. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. And whereas Sam has this amazing setup, her head has to be here, the shorts have to be here, she has to have red on the shorts there, red on his, everything has to be matching. I'm like, oh fuck it, go in your pajamas and do it. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
that's I don't overthink anything. I'm just like, oh shit or bust, go and pick it up, and I can pick it up. I've been very lucky like that. And
I bet
Sam's
that
always like, how can you do that?
I
You
bet it
know?
makes it even more annoyed then that she's still
Yeah,
not got to your deadlift record either.
yeah, yeah. And
That
of
you're not
course,
even
I
competitive about it. You're like, meh.
I haven't lifted a heavy deadlift in 2 years, and she's still not beating me. So sorry,
You've
babe,
given her so
sorry.
much chance. Yeah, you
I
just
don't, honestly, I'm like, come on, catch up, like, but bless her.
I love that. Just hold it over her for a little bit longer. If anything, you're helping her by making her more competitive against you. So
Well, and you know what? I think, right? I think that was the hardest thing when I stopped to have my operation and stuff like that. Is she lost that competitiveness as well because we were very much like beat you, beat you, beat you, beat you, and it was back and forth all the time. So
yeah,
she had to find a whole new way of training as well. And I know she suffers with that mental block even now. It's hard.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to other people then who are like, say, in their like late 40s and 50s, women especially looking to get into the gym? Like, what would you say were the things that helped you get into the gym and start doing the sort of like powerlifting and strongman training?
Do you know what? I think for me, it was just a fluke that I got on it. One day, Sam just said, "Have a go with that," and I just thought, "Oh my god, that was light. I could do that." I think Sam touched on that. We've got boot camps for women. We do boot camps for these women sort of thing. We've got the youngest is 16, the eldest is 70.
Oh
To
wow.
see them coming into it now and pushing them to. So last night, for example, I said, right, you choose your own weights. I'm not choosing your weights. You want a weight plate, you want a set of dumbbells, and you want a kettlebell. You choose them. And they all went for heavy weights. And I was like,
Nice.
yeah, that sort of thing. But I'm just a little bit like, give it a go. Why won't you give it a go?
Yeah.
Get that confidence and get yourself out there. Because, for me, I've had quite a shitty upbringing. Although it was a loving upbringing, it was shitty in hostels and homeless hostels and stuff like that, and that's how I grew up. And I just think to myself, life is too freaking short. I've lost a lot of mates very suddenly, very young, and I'm just like, why don't you just go out and grab it by the bollocks and have a go? You
Yeah.
know, come to
Yeah.
our gym. I'll show you what to do. But I
Yeah.
would just say, just have a go. Have that bit of confidence and walk in. We've talked about this a lot. The confidence about walking into gyms. Ours is a safe space, as you know,
Hmm.
and I know you've just started with Joe and Rachel and that. And it's a bit like you've got to do this. You've got to do it now
Yeah.
because what are you waiting for,
Absolutely.
really? Mm.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, like female owned gyms, I know we've obviously got a man in ours as well, but like female owned gyms is a much bigger thing now. Like there's so many more female owned gyms
Yeah,
than there was like 5 years ago when I first started. And I think if you can
absolutely.
find those places, there'll be one near you. Like there's that many in
Yeah,
the UK now, there'll be one
there is. Yeah.
nearby. It's
There's
just
a
finding
fab
the
one
right place.
in Devizes as well. Pure Grit, Zoe Trevina. She's
Yeah.
very welcoming. She got a lot of power lifters there and a lot of strong women. She's brilliant, and that's quite central to everyone in Bristol.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the thing. Like we were talking about it because we've obviously just done that camp VC, and there was loads of women there that were like, "What gyms can I go to? Where can I train?" and stuff like that. And while there is like this sort of websites you can find strongman gyms in, there doesn't seem to be any like websites where it's just female-owned gyms. Like maybe there is. I
Yeah,
haven't really done a lot of research into it, but I mean,
yeah,
if there isn't, and someone's got a bit of like oomph about them and a bit of design and like can put up a website, that would be a fantastic thing to have.
yeah,
Like a
yeah.
setup of where you can find female-owned
Bit of an A to
gyms.
Z of women's gyms, isn't it? Yeah,
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 absolutely,
definitely.
yeah. But again, if
Mm.
anyone's listening and they want to find somewhere, message either of us. I'm sure we can point you in the right
Yeah,
direction. Like there's
yeah.
so
We'll
many
find
out there, isn't
something.
there?
There
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's ruin that good vibe then, and let's talk about your strong woman lows, shall we?
Well, I suppose that's got to be the knee, hasn't it? It's
The
the
knee.
I was lifting for so long and grinning through. Yeah, I watch some of my videos and I go, oh my god, look at the shape on that knee, and it's proper cringe. But I think it was the day I went to the doctor and he said, look, he said if you lift more than 50 kilos, your leg is going to explode. It's that bad now. There was nothing. It was, there was no bone left in it. So I was
Yeah,
wearing this like a metal cage on my leg, and I just think I was taking so many painkillers, and I think that not being able to do anything at the gym. I couldn't even do upper body because you bounce on your leg. You couldn't do
yeah,
anything. So it was basically you need to stop. And for a doctor to stress that much, you need to stop because it's going to snap and it's going to take every ligament, every tendon, and you're
yeah.
not going to walk again. You'll have to have it amputated, sort of thing. I
Oh
think for
God.
me that was such a kick up the ass, and
Yeah,
it was like, wow, this is it. Like, my life is over. What am I going to do? And so I think that was probably the lowest,
yeah, yeah,
and I think I realized that after OSG 2021, because me and Sam were head to head, and I came sixth with one leg, but I had pulled my hamstring on the other leg as well, and I was just I was hobbling around like I didn't belong on this planet, but to still
yeah,
come sixth, I was really proud of that. But I think that realization of coming home and not being able to sit on the plane because I was in so much pain with the
yeah,
hamstring and my knee, because it was both legs by then, and I thought, I got to stop for a while. I've got to.
yeah,
So I think that was probably the lowest point.
yeah, absolutely. And did you say the knee injury was from when you were younger, bike incident?
It was a motorbike accident. I came off the back of a motorbike when I was 17, yeah, and
Oh
I
my
and I
God.
shattered the kneecap, part of the lateral compartment. And of course, you go through life, and I was still I was still jumping up and down on pool tables, doing this, landing in the splits with the vodka, and doing all this silly thing. That probably didn't help the knee long term, but I had a couple of bike accidents when I was younger, and
Yeah.
I've never looked after myself. I've always been a bit of a thug and a bit of a rebel. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah,
we do when you're young, don't you? I feel like nowadays,
yeah,
like there's much more because fitness and like strength training is so much more accessible for a lot of people. It's not the same. Like we were talking about this the
yeah.
other day because I do a bit of physio for the rugby lads, and like the young lads that are coming through now, they don't have that same mentality. Like they still go out and drink, but it's not like it was 10, 20 years ago where like
Yeah,
that was the thing. Rugby was the just extra. The main
yeah,
thing was like
yeah,
the going out and drinking culture, and it just doesn't seem that it's that big anymore. Whereas like now
yeah.
everyone's like a serious athlete. They've all got whoop bands on and they're like tracking the sleep
I
and shit, aren't
know.
they?
I mean, God, I couldn't even spell gym when I was growing up. If it wasn't spelled PUB, I wasn't in it. But
Yeah,
I had I had fun. And until I was 42 when I had Ollie, and until then, I was a party girl. I loved my drugs. I loved my drink. I haven't looked after myself. I haven't, and I
yeah.
battered my body. I remember falling down the stairs dressed as Dracula and landing on that same knee, and
Oh
and it
god.
being double the size for a month. But
Yeah.
it's it's what you did at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But awesome to get into Strongwoman though and still be feeling like the benefits, especially from that strength training. I guess when you
Yeah.
started to where you are, like obviously without the knee in the middle, but like to where you are now, I bet you feel better
Oh,
now than you did
absolutely.
when you were younger.
I feel better now than I've ever felt. I've got to say, even when I first started, and before, I mean, obviously I've got two good legs now, not perfect, but they're good. But I feel fitter and healthier now than I ever have, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. And how long was it from when, say, the doctors told you to stop lifting? Was it until you got the knee replacement?
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't do anything. I was going to the gym with Sam, and I was sitting there miserable as sin, which didn't help her lifting either, did it? And I know
Yeah.
she was so worried about me because they had me on all sorts of morphines and heroin substitutes, and you name it, I was on it.
Yeah.
But I was still working full time as well.
Oh,
So,
God.
but it didn't do her mental health any good either, because obviously she was looking after me, so she put her career on the back burner for me, a strong woman career. So wasn't fair
Yeah.
on her either, really. And you don't
Yeah.
realize that impact until you look back and think, oh my God, she could have been on that podium, on the top of the podium, had this
Yeah.
not happened to me. And I have no doubt she would have been.
Yeah, it's really difficult, isn't it? But both of you are so invested
Mm,
in each other's lives, though. It's difficult
yeah,
to not have that. Like I know I'm the
yeah,
same with my husband Ben. Like if he's not right, I'm not right. Like we're very
yep,
codependent.
yeah.
But
Absolutely, and I think if you've got that closeness, it's lovely, but it can also be detrimental because, like, if I was having a really bad day, because my leg would swell to three times the size, it was
yeah,
it was horrific. And she said, "Oh, I won't go tonight, babe. I'll stay on my cup of tea," and I'm just like, oh. But it was hard. But it's what we went through, and I think it made us stronger going through it because we went through everything together.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the time frame between you stopping training to then getting the knee replacement?
It was probably about 15 or 16 months, I want to say.
But yeah, it's still a
Because we
long
flew
time to
over
get
in
that.
September 2023 to Lithuania to have it done.
Yeah,
So it was over a year. It was well over a year. And on that time, Sam, I think she felt like she was being left behind because you had all the other master strong women coming in and training and training and training and getting stronger
yeah,
and stronger. And she was like almost like leveling out for a bit because
yeah,
obviously she threw herself into me.
yeah.
But
Really
mm,
difficult. But as well, I think it's worth noting as well, because obviously you went and got it, you'd need them privately, didn't you? Because,
yeah.
and I sort of know this like pathway with the NHS, because the NHS do not like giving knee replacements to anyone under 60, like under
No,
70,
they
to be
don't.
honest. Like they're
Yeah,
really
yeah,
against it. Because especially a few years ago as well, like knee replacements they've got a timeline on them. Like once you've
yeah,
had them replaced, I think it used to be like 10 to 12 years and you'd be in for another
yeah,
one. So, and they
yeah.
don't want to do more than two on one person. They don't want to do more than one on
Oh,
one person
absolutely.
most of
They
the
they
time.
they really don't. They really don't. We paid private for an MRI scan. I had an
Yeah,
MRI scan, and they basically looked at it and went, "Wow, this is worse than what we thought." So then I took that into a private clinic in Cardiff, and he went, "Oh yeah, we can sort that out." And I'm thinking he's an NHS doctor. Is he going to want money off me? And he said, "Oh, I'll send you a quote." And they quoted between 17 and £20,000, and I was
fucking
like,
hell.
I was in bits. I couldn't stop crying, and I'm not a crybaby. Do you know what I mean? I just thought this. What can I do? I cannot. I wouldn't have survived the drugs they had me on for another 2, 3 years. So I
No,
was what? I was 54 at the time. They wanted me to wait another 6 years. So it
ridiculous.
was it was ridiculous. Yeah.
Which is
So
insane when you think of it in terms of the NHS, because I mean, how much more money would it have cost them to deal with you for another 6 years on that amount of
yeah,
medication when they could have just
yeah.
given you a knee replacement? It probably would have cost less.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in Wales, because we have free prescriptions in Wales, I would go to the doctor and I would come up with reams of paper. I would go to the chemist and come out with carrier bags of stuff. I would hang them on my crutches because I was on crutches by then, hang them on my crutches and waddle over. It was absolutely ridiculous. The amount of stuff they had me on,
Yeah,
and even sending me for new metal frames on my legs and stuff like that. It's ridiculous,
yeah,
ridiculous. Just bite the bullet, send me and get it done.
yeah,
But no, they,
absolutely
they weren't having
insane.
any of it. I tried every which way, beg, stole, borrow. It just wasn't happening. With your bicep, it was, how hard you have to try.
Yeah, you've got to fight for stuff. You've really got to fight for stuff because they don't like giving stuff out like that for free. It is really
No.
hard. And I think as well it's even harder when you're also an athlete and you're training, but you're training for like a hobby sport, which like
Yeah.
strongman is. Like no one's getting paid professionally to do this.
No,
And I think when
no.
you mention that, a lot of doctors as well are still in that old mindset of, well, you've sort of done that to yourself, and you're like, well, I haven't. I'm probably fitter and healthier than the majority of the
Yeah.
population right now. I'm probably costing less in general for the NHS. Like, but
Yeah.
we do have these issues with the sport, and it's one of them,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think when I first started having the knee issues and all that, and I wouldn't push, I was a little bit like, oh, it's my own doing, it's my own doing. And the wonderful Jenny Todd messaged me and said, fucking push.
Yeah,
You push it. Do you know what I mean? I've got a lot to thank her for because it was a bit like, shit, someone like Jenny Todd has messaged me, little
yeah,
me.
yeah,
People are watching. Shit, I need to do something about this. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. It didn't get me any further, but it made me more determined to come back. And
yeah,
I think just bite the bullet and say, yeah, she's right. Why am I sitting here and not doing anything for myself?
yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely, I
yeah.
totally
Jenny
agree.
made me push myself a lot, so I got a lot to be grateful for Jenny. Bless her.
She's very good at that, isn't she? She's good at pushing
Oh, she's
people
an
in the right
angel.
direction.
She is. She is indeed.
Do you want to talk about the GoFundMe? You don't have to if you don't want to. I can cut this out.
We can talk a little bit about it. I mean, I know Sam touched on it. I was very against doing a GoFundMe. I
Yeah,
hobbled in from work one day. She said, "Look what I've done," and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, babe! I didn't want this and that." And then all of a sudden, this money started pouring in, and I'm a little bit like, "Oh, okay," because we talked about getting a few credit cards, maxing out credit cards, selling the car, do this to pay for it,
yeah,
and the money just started rolling in, and it was a bit like I can't do this. I can't share this. So I put a big status up saying, look, if you don't want to do it, scroll past, drop me as a friend. I lost lots of friends. They were all like, unfriend, unfriend. I'm like, oh, bye then, bye then.
Yeah.
But it just started going up. You know about the bullying. We were bullied. There was some hurtful stuff. There was
Yeah.
some hurtful stuff. But the people that wanted to put in.
Yeah.
I was very grateful for that, and I still am because I wouldn't have the quality of life that I've got now. But it
Yeah.
was a hard few months. It was a hard few months, and
Yeah.
reaching that total with a lot of anonymous donors, it was just like, wow, I can book this, and
Yeah.
we booked it, and within a month I was over there and I had it done.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Mm,
But this is
mm,
the thing though, and I think GoFundMe is a really weird it's a really weird thing in Strongman, isn't it? Because there's parts of it that I agree with and there's parts of it that I absolutely don't. And I think in your case, like I
same.
totally agree with that. Like and same with Killian Groom, I know I've mentioned him before. He's just had his like GoFundMe up for his surgery. And I
Yeah,
think for that sort of thing, like, yeah, I totally understand it. I totally understand it. And it's not like you went and was getting like I don't know, your boobs done. You were getting a replacement knee because you're in that much pain and agony every day. You couldn't
yeah,
live a normal standard of life. Like
yeah.
that makes
And we,
sense to
we were
me.
still going all over the country, sort of, helping out at competitions and stuff like that. And I'd go on the end of the day, and my leg would be absolute agony. But it was one of those ones that I didn't want to stop doing it, and I wanted to give something back.
Yeah,
But I know with Killian, I know it's a long road to recovery. I'm what 23 months in, I still get pain.
yeah,
It's nothing like it was. I'm very scared to lift heavy. I've done 200 since I've done it, but my
amazing.
God, I'm frightened. It's
Yeah,
bloody scary. With your bicep coming back, how frightening it is.
yeah,
But I can run around. I can take the dog for a walk. I can run up and down the gym. I'm still lifting. So
yeah,
it's given me a life back. It has. So I will
absolutely.
always be so grateful to everyone that put. Even there were some people putting £3 in. That's all I got was £3, and I'd send them a T-shirt and say thank you. It's that
Yeah,
sort of giving something back. You did your bucket hats, didn't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what,
So
and there was a good post. I think it was Ben Glasscock had put on his Instagram like a couple of days ago, following Europe's, and he was talking about people setting up GoFundmes for like saying get to Worlds and stuff like that. And he made a very good point. Like contact your local businesses. A lot of these businesses can use that like donation as a tax write off, so that a lot of places
absolutely,
will be willing to do it. And I mean, we've contacted businesses for like promoting the comps and stuff like that and getting some prize
yeah,
pots together for them. And people are really willing to give you money. You've just got to
yeah.
ask for it. And the one thing about GoFundMe that I don't like is people using it just to get themselves to comps. I sort of
I
think for
know.
me, that's a luxury. It's a luxury that we get to go to competitions. And if you
Like you've
can't
said,
afford,
it's a hobby, isn't it?
yeah,
I know
yeah,
when we ran Wales Strongest Woman 2024, and it was a massive success. It was huge, big outdoor event, and we had so many sponsors that we were able to give prize money as well, and it was brilliant. But yeah, you've got to ask. If you ask, people will do it. Like you say, the tax dodgers as well. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I'll make you a banner, or I'll put you on our because I was printing the t-shirts. I'll put you on the t-shirt. Yeah, that's fine. Give us 50 quid per person or whatever. You know what I mean? It was really good. But yeah,
yeah,
if you ask, it is
100%.
out there, and people don't give if they don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know.
exactly. The worst they can say is no or not reply. Like
Mm,
that's what I think it is, and
yeah,
I do think that asking just general people to fund your hobby, it doesn't sit quite right with me. It doesn't sit
I
quite right,
agree.
but it's
Yeah,
one of them.
yeah.
So two threes and six. Some people might disagree. But
Yeah,
if you disagree with
it
me, then
is.
come on the podcast and argue it. Argue your point. I'm more than willing to listen to an
No,
argument.
absolutely, absolutely. No, I agree. There's certain things. I have given to the ones that are going to Worlds, close friends and stuff like that. But I know when we started to GoFundMe and I was raising money, I started up a page called Needy Teas, and
Yeah,
it was funding needs for t-shirts, and I was printing my own. I was printing t-shirts and I was sending them off, and I had a lovely lady, Patricia, doing them for me as well. And then I brought my own printer, and I was printing the t-shirts and sending them
nice.
off, just so someone had something back,
Yeah,
or a key ring or something, just so you could give that little something, really.
yeah,
But we had a lot of t-shirts. My Instagram name's kind of fit, kind of chunky, and they all wanted that on the back of a t-shirt. So it was
yeah.
great. We had lots of friends running around with them and, tagging us on the page. It was really good. So we raised quite a bit through that as well. It was good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And then I just want to talk a little bit about your recovery. So once you'd had your knee replacement, how did you find like the rehab? Obviously, we spoke a little bit there about it. It's terrifying coming back into lifting, but how are you finding it now?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a normal life. I have. Me and Sam, we're doing like 6, 7, 8 mile walks now. The
Nice.
gym is a little bit different. I am scared. I am, lifting it, and now and again it's like, oh god, that didn't feel right, because it feels, anyone's had any replacement part, it feels really alien.
Yeah.
You'd think 2 years on that you'd be used to it. I'm not used to it. I get up in the morning and it crunches, and I'm like, oh, is that normal? It's that sort of
Yeah.
thing. There's a hell of a scar there, and it does swell every day.
Hmm.
But I have got a life back. I've got muscles coming, because I've been on this massive weight loss journey again now, and I've lost just over 5 stone, and that's from
Amazing.
doing cardio, which is but I'm
Yeah.
back lifting. Even last weekend, for example, what did I do? I did 60 kilos. I did 60 reps.
Nice.
It's that I could never have done anything like that before. So it is there. The recovery is hard. Some
Yeah.
some days are really worse than others. Some days I'm like, oh shit, that hurts, but
Yeah.
no pain like it was before. But
Yeah.
no, I'm in there now, and I've got 12 to 14 boot campers twice a week, and I'm running around and jumping around with them and doing stupid things. And so yeah, so the recovery was slow at the beginning. I was off crutches within 3 days because I'm a stubborn bitch. But
Of course you are.
but yeah,
No
but
walking
it's
stick for you.
they gave me a Zimmer frame. I'm like, absolutely not. I was what? I'm 55. I'm not using that. So Sam said to
Yeah.
me, "What are you doing?" I'm walking across this massive hotel room, and I'm carrying this Zimmer frame, and she's like, "No, you're supposed to put it on the floor." And I'm like, "No, I can't. I can't do it."
I can't use this
But
as if I'm walking
so
with
that
it.
that
No.
was, yeah. No, no. But I think the recovery was actually helped because the actual physio over there, because I had 10 days physio there as well. I was really lucky that I had the basketball coach, physio, doing
Nice.
my recovery over there, and he really pushed me. He said, "You've got the muscle mass already. You need to work on this." So the strong woman actually aided my recovery because I had all the muscle there.
Yeah.
So it was building that muscle back around the replacement then, and so yeah, the recovery was better because I was fit and strong anyway. I did a
Absolutely.
lot of prehab as well. They give you all these prehab things, and for a month you have to do all these exercises. So I did that, and I built the muscle up around the knee. So it was a
Hmm.
lot better, even going there with the muscle mass.
Yeah.
So yeah, rehab
Absolutely.
is vile after something like that. It's vile because
It's
I'm like,
not
oh,
good.
is it going to pop open? It's no. And every
Yeah.
noise, every twinge, and I'm a little bit like, has that knitted to that bit of knee? What is that creaking noise? It's scary. It is, but
Yeah.
yeah, forever grateful for it though.
Absolutely. Yeah, my last placement was on an orthopedic ward, so we were just dealing with joint replacements, and then the knees. I like the hips. I feel like are a little bit easier to deal with. The knees
Yeah,
are so hard because people wake up and immediately there's a physio there being like, right, how far can you bend your knee? And they're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
not at all. I can't. And you're like, no, no, we're going to
yeah.
bend it to at least 90 degrees, mate. Like off
I
you go.
know, I know. Well, I was actually in about a month before this lady that I know that come back, and we kept in touch a little bit. She had to go back and have it manipulated under anesthetic because she couldn't get the bend,
Yeah,
and and she's like, "Oh my god, you're so lucky." I mean, I worked bloody hard at that rehab. There's no way I was going to spend 10 grand and then not have it working.
yeah,
But she's like, "Oh, you're so lucky," and I was thinking, "No, you're unlucky. I was lucky." But
yeah,
I had 90 degrees within about 3 weeks. It was uncomfortable, but I could do it. I
yeah,
could do it, regularly, sort of thing.
yeah.
I took a photo of my leg in Weatherspoons one day. We gone for tea in Weatherspoons. I'm like, oh my god, look,. My leg is tucked a bit under. It's under.
This is
So
past
I
90.
haven't got. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not quite as bendy as the other one, but my god, what am I expecting? I got a big bit of titanium and plastic in there, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Mine was a
absolutely.
little bit more. It was a bit more complicated because because I had no lateral compartment on it, I had to have like a polyurethane cement put in there as well. So
Right.
I've got one part of my knee that's actually numb. It's like it feels like wood when you tap it. It's
Yeah.
not very nice. So that is, I think it's just disconcerting knowing that there's a massive foreign body inside your body, and that you
Yeah.
beep going through airports, which is fantastic. It's that's fab. Set all the alarms off in the airport.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
mm,
Yeah, it is
mm,
insane, and I think knee replacements are one of them. You will have benefited massively, like you said, from having the muscle mass beforehand, and that will have
yeah,
then benefited your
yeah,
rehab. And you can tell, like when I was on that ward, the people that were coming in, you knew the people that were going to be coming back in like
yeah,
6 to 8 weeks and
yeah.
going under anaesthetic for an a manipulation because they just didn't want to
Yeah.
move it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't
Yeah.
want to do the rehab, and
And
they
I
hadn't
think
done
there's a big
anything
fear as
before.
well.
Yeah,
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 it's the
absolutely.
fear as well, because when I came out of the anaesthetic, because you have a spinal block in the brain, I don't know how they do it over here,
Yeah.
and I came out, and I've always had problems with high blood pressure, and that was when I had this bleed before my blood pressure was so high and stuff. So when we came out, my blood pressure, like they said, oh, do you want to stand up and see if you can go for a wee sort of thing? So they put you on this stand thing, you know. So nurse behind me, Sam sat on the edge of the bed, there's another nurse in front, and I stood there and I went, I don't feel too good. And I went down like a sack of shit. Honestly, my
Oh
blood pressure just went
no.
through the roof. It just to the floor. So
Yeah.
they were put it, you still got the drip in your arm, and they were ramming masses of adrenaline in because they couldn't bring me around. And Sam's
Yeah.
sitting there, and all I'm saying is Sam there, is Sam there, is Sam there. And I mean, I know the color I go when I pass out, and I was green, and they couldn't bring me round. So that
Yeah.
happened the first time I had physio as well.
Oh,
But
God.
twice I fell on the knee. Actually fell on the bloody knee. What's that about? Like, innit?
Oh
So
no.
yeah, because you can't control when you're fainting, you go down like a sack of shit, and but so they were very aware then that her blood pressure. We need to give her blood pressure tablets, so they were monitoring this blood pressure because it was dropping through the floor and then flying through the roof. So it's quite a scary time, but yeah,
Yeah.
on that ward, it's scary trying to bend that leg. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is as well, because you're still in pain, like it still hurts. I
Mm,
know that a lot of
mm,
people take a lot of painkillers after knee replacements because it does take a lot of time. Like, and I think that as well, that's not mentioned at all with like knee replacements, is that it's not a quick
no,
fix. You don't go in and
no.
then a couple of weeks later you're like, oh, brand new knee. It's months,
Oh,
if not
it's
years of
really
rehab.
not. Yeah. Well, I was on so much medication going over there that a few weeks before I'd had serotonin syndrome where it had overdosed me because I had so much and I had like this crawling under my skin. Oh, I was shit. Honestly, it was a shit time.
Fucking
So I
hell.
decided in Lithuania that I was going to come back drug free. All I was taking is ibuprofen and paracetamol, and I did it. But
Wow.
going through that cold turkey, I've got so much more empathy now for the people I work with. It's phenomenal. I'd have probably given anything for a fix that day,
Yeah.
but no, I came back and I was drug free and I haven't taken anything but paracetamol or ibuprofen since, which is I'm quite proud of that.
It is amazing that as well because
Mm,
especially like prolonged use of like morphine and stuff
oh
like that
god,
and
yeah,
any opioids, it's
yeah.
horrific. It is like coming off of heroin. Like it's not.
Oh
It's
yeah. The
absolutely
crawling under your
comparable.
skin it's phenomenal. I was twitching. I thought I was going to die. The twitches, the involuntary spasms of your body, and Sam's looking at me, and I'm freezing, and I got goose pimples, and then I'm sweating, and oh, it's
Yeah,
horrific. People don't realize what it's like,
yeah,
and the
absolutely.
doctors are putting you through this. The NHS are just chucking this stuff at you. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think a lot of it's overprescribed. I think there's
Mm,
so many other ways that people can deal with pain, and like it just
yeah,
needs to be there needs to be a lot more of a holistic approach within the NHS because at the moment it is
I
very much,
agree.
oh, you're in pain, here's some more painkillers. Oh, it's still in
Yeah,
pain, here's a few more. Oh, pain,
yeah.
it's some more. Like it's just like
Absolutely. I think I was
giving
on
candy
8
out.
different things in the end. Yeah, eight different things. And I was like, oh, have I taken them? So I had to get, them old age pensioners' Dosset boxes
Yeah,
to put them in there. And Sam had to do it for me because I honestly, I remember driving back from work the one day and I was working for Mind. I was working for a mental health charity. And I was going to these hostels delivering mental health thing. I got back this one day and I'm like, have I been to work? And
oh
honestly, it
gosh,
was that bad. How the friggin' hell did I drive? How was I
yeah,
driving home? I could have killed someone. And it was there,
yeah,
and I thought, I can't do this. I can't.
yeah,
I had no, there was nothing there, and I just thought, no, I can't do this. I can't do it.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it's
Well,
horrific.
it's amazing the comeback you've made from it, though. That's like
Yeah.
unbelievable. That. Is there any ideas in the future for competing again in Strongwoman?
Yeah, do you know what? I'd never say never. I'll never say
Oh,
never. I mean, I can't even look at a duck walk thinking of that on my knee. I can't even
oh
think
God,
of, you
no.
know what I mean? It's, oh, I can't think of that. But if the events were right, I don't think it would have to be like a novice, or I would never go into competitive what I was doing, because I
Yeah,
don't think, I've been offered to go back into the disabled ones because with a knee replacement you can.
yeah, yeah,
And I think, do you know what? Never say never. I'm not ruling anything out. I would like to do a powerlifting comp.
Yeah.
because I've got a lot of over 50s records. I'd like to get the over 60s one. So I've got what? I've got about just 2.5 years. I would like maybe to go into the over 60s and
Hell
see
yeah.
how that goes. You know what I mean? So we've got a lease on the gym for another 4.5 years. So I can't give up yet, can I?
No, no. Well, you've got to do at least another four and a
Mm.
half years, haven't you? Make worth the lease.
Well, I think so. I think so. So maybe going back into the powerlifting a bit as well,
Nice.
just to prove that I can and that there's life after replacement,
Absolutely. And as well, like
Mm,
once that over 60s class hits the strongwoman scene, you'll be there. You'll be ready for it.
yeah. If Lynn wants to put one on in OSG, who knows? I mean, I
We've
know
discussed
in
it.
Sam's podcast, yeah,
Yeah, it's
in
been
Sam's
discussed.
podcast, we were very determined to go to Texas. I think that's off the cards now.
Oh, is
I
it?
don't think yeah, I don't think we'll do Texas this year, if I'm honest. I think the stress involved, they're canceling loads of flights and stuff. Sam needs to
Yeah,
be 150% focused, and I don't think Sam's very much not a control freak, but she needs to know everything is very. She's a bit OCD, I think, bit of ADHD, whatever's going on, just not diagnosed. She needs to put every duck in a row before she can actually go and win it. And she's going to
yeah,
go to win it. She can't have any stress. And I think the shit that's going on out there and the Trump thing and the cancelling of the flights from October is quite scary as well. So I
yeah,
think that that's on the
absolutely.
back burner. But I think maybe next year I
Yeah.
think, who knows? I might even dabble in the over 50s. I don't need to go in and win. I need to go in and do it.
Hell yeah,
You
I would
know,
love to
yeah,
see that. I would love to see you and
you
Sam
know,
back competing at Worlds next year. That would be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, it's like I'll never be on that podium, but it's not about that for me. It's about getting out there and having some bloody fun and showing people that there is life after a knee replacement as well.
Absolutely. I think it would be
Mm,
awesome to see. It would be absolutely awesome. I'd love
mm,
that. I'm very much the same. I need everything. I need to be 100% if I'm going. And I've said the same
yeah,
for Worlds this year. Like, I'm not right. I can't do it this year. But next year,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
on. It's happening.
yeah. Yeah, I think for next year it probably will be. I think as well we both started new jobs within the last 2 years. We've opened up this gym. There's a lot of commitment there, and I think you need to be 100%. You
Yeah.
really need to. We've both got quite stressful jobs as well. The
Yeah.
environments we work in can be quite traumatic at times as well. So I
Hmm.
think you need to be in a really good headspace for that as well.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. Right. Let's move on then to the final question. We went right off on a tangent there, but I loved it.
We
Thanks.
do, yeah, we do, don't we? Yeah, yeah. I was
um,
like, oh my god, what if I go? I can't say anything. What if I dry up? Like, nah,
Nah,
don't
never
happen.
happens. Never. Everyone just gets
I'm a
dead chatty.
gobshite. Yeah,
So am
yeah.
I. But right. So, what would you say to yourself then when you first started the sport?
If I had to go back and do it again,
Yeah.
I would actually say train because I didn't. We had a coach that would say, right, give me 10 reps. I'd say you're having fucking one, and I would do one rep. He'd say, right, we're training Wednesday and Thursday. I'll say, I'll give you Thursday. I'd go in half hour late. I was terrible. I didn't train. I
Oh
How
my.
I got as far as I did, I will never know because Sam would be in there working her ass off, and he'd say to me, "Right, have you done your reps?" And I go, "Yeah," and he'd say, "You haven't, have you?" And I go, "No." Luke Davis and Worlds, he said, "Go and warm up," and I went, "No," and he said, "You got a deadlift, lad," and I'm like,
Can't be
"Yeah,
bothered.
but." The first bar was 140. I won the deadlift. It's fine.
That's the warm
I
up for
knew I
me.
had them. Yeah, and he's like, "You're not gonna listen to you," and I'm like, "No, no, I'm not." But if I had my time again, I would train hard
Yeah.
because I could win.
Yeah.
I came so high in the sport anyway, considering I didn't train and I had one leg. Imagine if I'd have had both legs and trained.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got yeah. There's a lot of heartache. I think from me. What if
Well,
I'd have had the two legs?
it's never too late now, mate. Never too
No,
late
now it's
now.
back, isn't it?
Two good legs now, and plenty of time to train.
Yeah,
And that gym lease for another 4.5 years.
I
You've got no
know. I'd be the
excuses.
I mean, if what they'd have to do now, right, is do an over 60s under 82 because I'm not going to put that weight back on either.
Nah.
So
Well, you never know.
yeah,
Lightweight masters is becoming a thing. Lightweight masters
well,
is
that's the
becoming
thing,
a thing.
isn't it? I'm prepared to drop a little more if I have to. So we'll see. But it's got to be lightweight 60s, I reckon. Yeah. So, but no,
Well,
never say never. I would. I've never been competitive, and I've never really enjoyed that side of it. But I've
Yeah,
liked pushing myself to see if I can do it. Because I'm a bit like, yeah. We got a 15. Well, he's 15 next month, and I like to make him proud as well. He's very
yeah,
proud of us, but I like to show him that anything's possible as well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely love that. That's class.
So
Right.
yeah, if
Well,
I trained, that's my biggest regret. I should have trained. Mm.
always a good way. Just
Yeah,
train. Do the
yeah,
training that
just
you're
do a bit
told.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Right. Well, let's move on then to the final part of the podcast, then the silly goose. Actually, quickly before we move on to the podcast, do you have any other Strong Woman bugs to bear? Anything you would like to say in terms of Strong Woman?
Um,
You don't have to.
no, nothing really. I very much like Sam. We keep our circle very, very small.
Yeah.
Shit on from a couple of great heights from people you trust, and I think that hurts. So our circle is very picky now. We choose who we spend time with, who we speak to, who we involve ourselves with. So I think in Strong Woman, I think I don't like clicks. I don't
Yeah.
like the clicks.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only thing really. I'm loving seeing the women in the sport doing so well though.
Yeah.
That's a very big high for me is seeing Donna the other day. I'm just like whoop whoop, because
In
she's
Europe's,
she's
yeah.
everyone's favorite Donna, isn't she? And seeing her do so well again the other day, but seeing all the new ones coming through, I love watching a novice coming through as well. And we've got a few girls at the gym that I'm loving seeing, but it's trying to teach them keep your circle small, don't go big too fast, and
Yeah.
enjoy this process. I think enjoy it.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that. I love that. Perfect. Right. Well, we'll end the Strong Woman a bit on that note and move on to the silly goose. So,
Silly goose. It's silly goose time where our lips get loose and our minds run free. Silly goose. It's silly goose time where we chat a load of shit that's of absolutely no use. It's silly goose time.
do you have a silly goose question you'd like to bring to the table first of all?
I've thought of lots, but
Oh,
I want you to give me one. I think. Have you got one for me?
I have got one. So I wanted to ask you anyway because we asked Sam this. Did you used to collect anything weird when you were younger?
I still do.
What do you collect?
So I touched on it a little bit earlier. So I grew up in homeless hostels, what were known as battered wives hostels when we were growing up, from domestic abuse and stuff. So we were never really cemented in a home. We'd go from one hostel to another hostel and that. So I remember, I've told this story before, so people might hear this anyway. I had one pair of long blue socks, right?
Hmm.
That we didn't have any money. There was no money there. It was we were growing up in the 70s. I was born in 1968, for fuck's sake, so there
Yeah.
was no money. So we had one pair of socks, right? And I used to dry them in the oven. My mum would wash them, and we would dry them in the oven overnight, right? So this one pair of socks. So since whenever I started work and I could afford it, I have bought socks and socks and socks and more socks. Right.
Yeah.
So I have got every color, every style, every my sock drawer is hanging out the bottom because I just keep putting more. And if I lived to be 189, I'd never wear all these socks. But it's something that I think it's a trauma response, if I'm honest, right? Because I
Yeah.
didn't have any, I want them now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
You
always got to make
never have
sure
too
that
many.
Ollie's got lots of socks. Yeah. But Ollie has always got lots of socks and pants. I like him to have socks and pants. And
Yeah.
knickers, I'm the same a bit, but more the socks. So when we were going to Lithuania, everyone was sending me pairs of socks and stuff like that, and it was amazing. I had so many different pairs of socks, but
I
but
love
yeah.
that.
So I collect socks. I still collect socks now. Yeah, much to Sam's. Oh, babe, not another pair. Yeah,
Well, be careful
yeah. And
because I
I've
know
just
that.
actually bought. Go
Yeah.
on.
Grace Hilborn said she liked crisps on this podcast, and she has been given a lot of crisps since then. So, if you're
Really?
listening and you want to give
Well,
someone something, send some socks to Sue.
mm,
She'll really appreciate it.
yeah. Well, we've just bought two pairs for a very well-known strong woman that hasn't been very well that I'm going to post next week as well. We've just bought a couple of pairs of socks for her, so But it's my go-to thing to send. Oh yeah, send someone some socks. But yeah,
Yeah,
and 50 pence pieces. But that's
I like that one
You know
too. Yeah.
the rare 50p pieces.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I love them. I love when you just
yeah.
randomly find one. I don't like them
Mm.
enough to collect them, but I like it when I just randomly have one. I'm like, oh, a weird one.
Yeah, I've got like a little zip bag that I've got £2 coins and 50p in that are probably worth no more than 50p if I'm honest. But I like them, and they're for Ollie for when he gets older, just to say I collected these for you because it's the shit. Like, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. No, my
mm,
mum gave me
mm,
her badge collection. I was over the fucking moon with it. It's just a load of old badges. I was like,
absolutely,
this is the
yeah.
best thing I've ever heard. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. And Ollie's into very much like World War II and old relics and stuff like that, you know? So
Oh, I love
I
that.
wanted a 1945 coin because that was the year my mum was born, and then that was the year that the Second World War ended. So he's got that framed on his wall. So it's little things like that, you know? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. I love that. That's a very, very good. I like to know what you guys collect. I've just been a bit
yeah,
obsessed since Sam told me about the phone cards, so just wanted to see if
yeah. Oh,
you
when she went, you know what phone cards are? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm 10 years older than you, Sam. Is yeah, of course I know
do.
what phone cards are, you
I
know?
know.
But
I went and told our lad, and he was like, "Oh yeah, phone cards," and I was like, "I feel like I'm just missing out here. I feel like
yeah, yeah.
how am I the only
And,
one
and
that know?"
And there were some brilliant ones. There were some absolutely amazing ones, you know, because
Yeah,
we didn't have mobiles back then, did we? Christ, we were lucky to have a house phone, you know. So, mm.
yeah. No, class. Right. Well, my other silly goose question was then if you could swap places with a fictional character, be it movie or book, who would it be and why?
Ooh,
So you can pick anything. If you want, I can go first because I already have one prepared for this.
go on, go first.
So mine would be Violet Sorringale out of the Sarah Maas books that are, is it Crown of Thorn and Roses? I'm not very good at titles or remembering things, but basically
Mm.
she goes to this college and learns how to like ride a dragon, and I was like, yes, in.
Okay,
That's
okay,
a bit of
yeah,
me. That I'd like to swap lives with her. It seems very exciting. I mean, the books are a little bit like they're a bit sexy. There's a little bit of all that sort of stuff going on. I'm
no, we
not too
don't mind
bothered.
that. We don't mind
Yeah,
that.
I don't mind reading that. I'm not too bothered about that side, but the dragon riding side, on board, love it. Would love
Yeah,
to have a dragon that I could just ride around.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'd want to be someone from history. I think.
Ooh,
Um, Ollie's very much into his history, and we did a lot of work on the Titanic with him. He was obsessed by the Titanic. I think I would like to be a survivor from the Titanic to see how it all went down and shit. I'm a little bit gory anyway. I like that. I'm
yeah,
into my serial killers and stuff, but yeah, I think something like that, you know, so I
I
could write about it after and know what really happened rather than all the bullshit they put in the papers. You know, did it
yeah,
hit an iceberg? Was it bombed? You know, what happened? What happened? So,
yeah,
yeah, maybe a survivor on the Titanic. A rich one,
yeah.
though. A
Oh
rich
yeah,
one.
which one? Yeah, you'd want to be one
Yeah,
of the ones that was getting on the boats first,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I
not
was
hanging
up
on till
top
the
with my
end.
cigarette and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, I like that. If
Yeah, I think one of them.
does he know anything about the Bermuda Triangle? I know it's not really history, but I'm just
So I
a bit
probably know more about the Museum Triangle. Me and Sam were very much into the unexplained. Me and Sam had a
Ooh,
before we
yes,
met, we were very much yeah. I like spontaneous human combustion and stuff. It's like wow, you know. I like unexplained things. I like ghostly things and stuff like that as well. So not
now I
sure
feel
that
like
would have been moved with Ollie.
I should have brought you a conspiracy theory for this silly goose. Now
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
underprepared here. I should have brought a better conspiracy theory.
I think we're both a little bit obsessed with serial killers. We watched a lot of ghosty stuff through
Yeah,
lockdown, and when I had my knee done, and of course I was very much for about 6 weeks on the SETI, that sort of thing. We watched a lot of these they do these paranormal investigations in houses and stuff like that. I like
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. I don't know if I believe. I think I do because I get prickly feelings now and again in places, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with you on that.
Mm,
I'm on the same wavelength where I
mm,
desperately want to believe, but I'm not quite sure I'm fully 100%
yeah.
believing in it.
I think I'm
But
probably 99.9. Ollie is very, very perceptive, and he always has been to stuff like that. I lost my best friend very suddenly, and I was broken, proper broken. And he kept feeling hurt. He was 5, and he was like this. He could see it at the corner of his eye all the time. So I do believe,
yeah,
but I haven't had that hard evidence smack me in the nose.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
am a believer in a lot of stuff like that. But Ollie is very perceptive. And what they
yeah.
call it, an indigo child, isn't it? So
Is that what it is? I like that.
yeah.
Hmm.
They apparently grow out of it, but Ollie hasn't. So
Maybe that's what it'll be when he gets older, a medium.
Yeah, well, he wants to be a historian, so maybe there's something in,
Bit
Yeah,
both, yeah. No, I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's a historian median would be like the best thing ever, wouldn't it? Just go and
Wouldn't
ask
it? Can you
him.
imagine? Oh, he'd shove me back on the Titanic, wouldn't he? Yeah, it'd be
You're like,
good,
I already
that.
know about that, mate. I spoke to somebody
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah,
Who are you talking
yeah.
to?
Yeah, well, in 1912, you can imagine him as well, can't you? So,
I know, I love that. Just before you go, then, what's your favourite conspiracy theory? Have you got one?
oh, there's so many, isn't there? I watch these dark things on the internet, on Instagram, and it says follow this
Yeah,
page because you won't get it again. And I'm like, and I see, like these shadow figures going past and like time lapses and stuff. So I'm a little bit into that. I can't believe I just said
yeah.
that out loud because that's my 2 o'clock when I can't sleep shit. That is. But yeah, I think, time travel, this sort of going in and out of things and whether it's a conspiracy or real.
I like that. My biggest
Mm.
one at the moment is that the pyramids definitely weren't built by the Egyptians.
No, I
No
don't think they
fucking way.
were.
No
I don't
fucking
think
way.
they were.
I'm
So
not buying.
who do you think they were? Aliens?
I think it's the aliens, yeah, but I think the
Mm,
aliens now. I don't think the aliens are at the pyramids, but I think they're under the sea. But I think the aliens were
yeah.
definitely responsible for the pyramids.
I do think there is some sort of alien thing. We can't be the only buggers, can we?
Can't be. It physically
No,
impossible. There's no
no.
way.
Absolutely, I agree completely. We can't just be the only planet that's got people on it. Because most
Yeah.
of the people on this planet are assholes, to be honest, aren't they? So
I'm surprised we haven't, like, the aliens haven't nuked us yet, to be honest. I would have.
so I know, innit? Or at
Sick of
least
these dickheads. Look at
yeah,
these
at
dickheads
least
ruining everything.
it is.
Come
What the
on.
fuck are they doing now, innit? It is that sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh,
Absolutely.
take that one out. She's not needed, innit? Yeah. So
Yeah, I'd be sick as fuck, me, if I was an
yeah.
alien. But anyway, that went beautifully off track. Thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, we'll wrap it up then. So, where can people find you if they want to follow along your journey or anything that you'd like to plug before we go?
So I'm kind of fit, kind of chunky. Although people keep saying I've got to change it now because I'm not quite as chunky, but I'll keep that name. If you want to send me socks, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I want to plug really. I think safe spaces in gyms. I think people need to make more space safe. They just like be safe in them. No mirrors, no mirrors. People don't like mirrors. And I think the more ladies that can get out there and get in the gym to get in and ours is still open for some memberships. Our boot camps are rammed. We can't take any more people, but I think yeah, our gym, and I want to plug my wife because she's bloody lush.
Awesome. I love that. Absolutely class. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Sue. It has been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Beck.
No problem. And we will see you all on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Strongwoman Highs, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the podcast, then please give us a follow on Instagram. Or if you would like, we're also on buymeacoffee.com/strongwomanhighs. This is where you can send us tips, or you can also join our membership area, which is $5 a month or £4 a month. It's the silly gosling level. We'll post out any extra content that we get on there, and hopefully a few little free giveaways of things as well. The podcast currently doesn't cost a lot to run, which is what we're trying to keep it as, but we would like to be able to cover our costs, and also once those costs are covered, any profit that is made on Strong Woman Highs will be getting saved up and put into a pot for future Strong Woman competitions that we can sponsor. So if you have a Strong Woman competition that you'd like to be sponsored, or if you want to be on the podcast, then give us a shout, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere else you can get us, and we'll get it sorted, because the more women that we can get on, the better. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye!